I swear, you know everything about the human brain except the way it works. I'm John Renton with the retro view of Rise of the Planet of the Apes from 2011. Yeah, the fact that something from 2011 qualifies for retro view status certainly says a lot about how much older I'm getting and how much older we're all getting. Soon we'll have 1 foot, both feet, and we'll be totally in the goddamn grave. We'll become worm food, and life will go on dull as before. But before that, let's talk about this movie. So I have seen it. I've actually seen all the other installments leading up to Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, but I decided to do a rewatch, like I have with the 1968 version. That certainly is a cult classic. Check out my review of that. And the 2011, or rather the 2001 debacle that was the Tim Burton version. Then 10 years later, they said, you know what, it's been a while. Maybe the taste of the Tim Burton version is washed out of their mouths. Let's revamp it with blackjack and hookers and also Malfoy, Tom Felton, basically just being a full-on dick. Also, James Franco, who obviously was innocent of the thing he was accused of. That's why he offered a settlement. Clearly, that's what you do when you're innocent. I'm going to make some jokes about James Franco here, and they're deserved, and I don't fucking goddamn care. But that being said, I would argue that this actually was the most successful of revamping of a classic IP in quite a while. Yes, there are some others that have worked pretty well, but this, I would argue, is better than the original. Yes, the original still has its classic moments, and there are a few callbacks in this one. Some that work and some that are offered with all the subtlety of a doorknob to your goddamn skull. But you gotta provide your own knobs. Haha, knobs. Rick Jaffa and Amanda Silver, whose credits include movies like the live-action Mulan, which, oh boy. And The Relic. Remember The Relic? Such a viral marketing campaign, and then you saw the goddamn monster, and you're like, ooh. So yeah, if you're not familiar with this, there's gonna be spoilers, because you have Will Rodman, the Rodman. It's like, oh no, Rod Birdemic is here in California. It's in San Francisco, by the way, with the Golden Gate Bridge community. Probably could emphasize that a little bit different for AJ Styles fans, but nevertheless, he is experimenting, on chimps with a compound that basically can cure Alzheimer's and dementia and that kind of stuff, and reverse the process and fix people's brains. He's doing this because his dad, played by John Lithgow, in a fairly hilarious role. At least it was hilarious to me, because he was just having to act like a doddering old man. So there you are. That being said, still not as hilarious as him being a villain in Cliffhanger. Nevertheless, he has a bit of a personal connection here. And then after an ape named Bright Eyes turn around and wreck the lab, every now and then you get shot apart. But you need something now tonight, and Caesar is living on forever, at least for a while. Caesar was her son. She was pregnant, she wrecked a lab, she got shot, and now he has to take care of him, because the character of Franklin can't take care of him, because his brother works in security and they'll rat him out. So, naturally, James Franco develops a bond with Caesar. Hopefully didn't do to him what he allegedly settled on with the two others, but he's a sex addict. It's okay. That's how things work. Okay, enough about James Franco. He falls for Caroline. Sweet Caroline, played by Frida Pinto, who is gorgeous. Not really that great acting, but she's gorgeous. And whirlwind romance. I mean, to the point where it's like I almost got dizzy with how quickly they got romantically involved. We go 5 years later. Caesar is grown up. Caesar, by the way, motion captured by Andy Serkis. Because, of course, that's Serkis, by the way. He's not actually in the circus, the Shrine Circus. And, my God, deep cut references all around. Also, fun fact, this had a $75 million budget, had a $54.8 million opening. So people were ready to give this a chance. It was lower than the 2001 reboot. I mean, adjusted for inflation, it was actually probably about... Actually, no, not really adjusted for inflation. We're only 13 years behind. But $176.7 million opening, but $481.8 million worldwide. So they're like, okay, we hit on something. That's why they did Dawn of the Planet of the Apes and then War for the Planet of the Apes, or War of the Planet of the Apes. One of the two. The titles are jumbled in my head. So, Yeah, the compound is named 112. So we're having peaches and ape cream here. I bet you didn't expect that reference. That's like the only song of theirs I know. And you have the character Jacobs, who is all about profit, but also he wants to be humane to get what he wants. He also meets a funny end. And hail Caesar, he is going to lead an ape revolution. After saving John Lithgow from something, from basically the dementia overtaking him again, and he wrecks a guy's car, the neighbor, who had been a full-on dick before when Caesar just wanted to go exploring, decided to attack John Lithgow. And then he bit the guy's finger off. And then Caesar realized he doesn't want to be that way. I don't want to be that way. No, I want to live. So, nevertheless, the bond between James Franco and Caesar is actually kind of nice. I'm just going to say James Franco and Caesar because it sounds a lot creepier because of who James Franco is. So, I will say a couple things. The CGI is a little bit dodgy. It's that like late 2000s, early 2011 CGI. And had this had maybe $100 to $110 million budget, but maybe they didn't want to put that much money towards it, given the reception the 2001 version got. Yeah, I don't blame, but some of the CGI works. Some of it really does click, and other times, oof. And this is only 13 years old. That being said, when it gets really, really going, it does pick up quite a bit. So after attacking the neighbor, he is put in a sanctuary where Brian Cox runs it. Brian Cox playing an evil son of a bitch. I know, I'm surprised as you are. And he loves his sons, but they aren't serious people. I forget what that's a callback to. It was a show he was in. Succession, I think. I haven't watched it, but I saw the meme. So that makes me sound like I'm trying to fit in. I didn't see it, but I saw the meme. So, mind you, this one thing I want to go to, though, this 5-year gap where we just go 5 years later. He doesn't tell his boss at all, because he's doing remote work, coming in the lab on occasion. And he's like, hey, so wait, you didn't tell me you were experimenting on your dad, taking meds from here, and you have a monkey at home, a chimp at home. And he didn't tell this to Caroline, who he has been with for a significant amount of time. Wait, tell me about all of this. All this in this one room in this house. It's not very big, but I never went in there. See, some of the characters are exactly the most well-written in this. I mean, yes, it is all about watching the apes, the chimps, the orangutans, the gorillas finally revolt. But that being said, there are some stupid moments in this movie where I'm like, is this intended to be funny, or is it just intended to make Frida Pinto not seem intelligent? As a character, I mean, not as an actress. I'm sure she has a very high IQ. Just doesn't translate it to acting. Moving on from that. So yeah, Caesar's had it. He's had it. He's going to lead a revolution. We do get some stuff with Tom Felton where he's like, it's a madhouse. And we get the stuff turned, we get it turned on the apes, the hose to them, and getting fed slop. There's a running gag with cookies. Franklin gets sick, by the way, when they try to get this character Koba, this one very abused chimp, to experiment, or to have 113 experimented on him. And Koba looks like he's been through the goddamn ringer. Nevertheless, we have Caesar that, basically establishes dominance. He's not violating ape law. You will lead us, Caesar, is practically what they're saying. And then you have the orangutan, Maurice, the gangster of love, with the second, most impactful throat pouch ever. Rest in peace, Nancy Reagan. Actually, rest in piss, Nancy Reagan, but you know the jokes. Everybody in the Reagan administration deserves a rest in piss. So, Lithgow basically starts having issues. He dies because that's the thing about experimenting with this shit. Sometimes it can cure it, but you can have issues. The body can fight, you can't fight fate. You can't do that. Some things aren't meant to be changed. You need to accept that. Like maybe experimenting on chimps and making them smarter isn't the best thing in the world. We saw this with sharks in Deep Blue Sea. Nevertheless, Jacob says, hey, you make history, I make money, and we're just going to continue to do this. We're going to continue to experiment on this stuff. Yeah, Franklin gets sick. He's sneezing blood on people because it's a simian flu-like thing, because it affects humans. It's like 28 Days Later, if 28 Days Later actually had good pacing to it. Maybe I need to rewatch it, but I remember not liking those movies. But Will says, hey, I'm tired of my ape being abused here. Here's some money. Caesar, let's go home. What do you mean you don't want to go home and you want to lead a revolution against humanity? Okay, fine. So then the cookies are being used. It's Malfoy's cookies, which didn't sound as gross in my head until I said it. But, oh no, they're chocolate chip cookies. Chimps ahoy! I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, but I don't care. Chimps ahoy, 1,000 chimps delicious. Chilled monkey brains from Indiana Jones 2. Other words and phrases. So, sign language stuff. Maurice, the gangster of love, once again, knows sign language. And so does Caesar. Apes, apes alone weak, apes together strong. I did like how Malfoy met his end. I know his name is Dodge, but just calling him Malfoy sounds funnier. This is right after Caesar, by the way, breaks into the house because they all escape. He takes all these canisters with this 113 drug, and Genesis, basically GENSYS with a dash in the middle for maximum labness, I guess. He decides, hey, I'm just going to smoke bomb everybody like I'm Krieger from Archer, and everybody is suddenly really smart. Malfoy got electrocuted when he had a shock stick, a cattle prod, and ended Goldberg's streak, and then got his own streak ended, and they killed the Golden Goose, WCW did. But yeah, he got sprayed and got electrocuted. That was funny. That was funny, admittedly. And then the best parts come now, like we're in this movie's only like till the end credits start about 97 minutes. So they do enough of a setup, and actually it's got some pretty good pacing. It's not a great movie, but it's a pretty good movie in all honesty. Will and Caroline must find Caesar. And then there's this part where people are walking through some trees, running through some trees and like this beautiful place, and then the leaves fall, and then the apes are attacking. And then they wreck the lab, and Jacobs was like, what the fuck, we need to find a goddamn helicopter that we apparently just had on standby and go and hunt them down. And then they're wrecking the city. Maurice throws the goddamn manhole cover. The Ninja Turtles pop out and say, we're good. And then the Gorilla Buck, I think was the name that was on the door, decides to, just throw a goddamn, throw almost like Thor's hammer into the goddamn thing. I think it was more like a parking pole. And they immediately start doing shit. I mean, they are just suddenly this elite fighting force. It is a real stark contrast. It just unlocks something in their brain. The best part was the Golden Gate sequence, where cops are trying to attack them. They're pushing this bus. The cops on horseback can't do anything. People are just all whatever. Caesar stops Buck from killing a cop. No. He even yells at one point earlier in the movie, no. It's like, take your stinking paws off me, you damn dirty ape, to Malfoy before killing him. No. And so now that he can speak, he is seen as the leader. So Maurice channels DK, Donkey Kong, part of the Golden Gate crew. One ape gets killed. I just love how the fog suddenly rolls in, like we're back in the N64 PS1 era, and then there's bright sun. And I don't know much about San Francisco. I'd imagine the Golden Gate Bridge actually does get quite a bit of fog, but this was a bit of a shift and a bit weird. Some dodgy CGI, a little bit much. And just shoot everything. Just shoot everything. Shoot the goddamn car. Shoot whatever. Let's blow all this shit up. And then Buck attacks the copter. He gets shot, but the copter is now hanging off there. And then Kobe falls to his death. Oh, such a shame. And I did like how Koba actually pushed the goddamn thing. Hey, Koba survived it, but Kobe didn't. He got away with assaulting somebody in the Denver hotel room, so he can burn in hell for all I care. I don't care how good the Mamba was. So Basically, James Franco finds a car, the one working car on the bridge conveniently, and drives and finds them all in the forest. And Caesar's like, leave us be. Caesar is home. Okay, we'll leave you alone. This will be the end of it. We won't have to worry about these super smart chimps and apes and others taking over. Why would you think that? We don't have other movies coming up. That being said, Rise of the Planet of the Apes actually pretty good. Better than I remember, in all honesty. No, not perfect. Some character motivations are a little bit one note. And yeah, it's nice setup. And there's some neat little stuff later on talking about Simian flu, Franklin being killed. But Rupert Wyatt did a pretty good job here. Certainly better than he did in Captive State. That was dog shit. Nevertheless, on to the other movies. On to Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes in just a few days. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Rethlin. I'll see you soon.